What if one day you decide you want to go fishing by yourself and you go to a boat rental location and you rent a John boat, has a motor, and you're going to go out and fish for a while. You go to the location, you rent the boat, and they go over all the instructions. You're so excited you don't hardly pay attention. You take the boat out and you get out in the water and you notice all of a sudden the boat's taking on water. The motor quits and you start using the paddles, except you need to be using a bucket to throw water over the side because the boat's taking on water and sinking. Do you bail the water or do you try to row to shore? Had you paid attention and listened, you would have noticed you didn't put the boat plug in, and now the boat's sinking. There's no one around you anywhere within sight, and you are on your own. Imagine if you had listened to those who were trying to give you warning early on to put the boat plug in, and the paddles were your secondary use of power. And now you can't paddle because you're having to throw water over the side. What would you do? You're on your own. Imagine going hiking into the woods where you've hiked numerous times previously, except this time you get injured. Maybe you sprain an ankle, break an ankle, step in a hole, hurt your knee, and now you're immobile. You didn't let anyone know where you were going, and now you are totally dependent upon the outside to figure out you're missing and to come and find you. Imagine had you made plans. You let someone know where you were going beforehand, and you even used a GPS marker to let them know the area you would be in, where someone could come to recover you in the event you got lost or didn't return. Not planning versus pre-planning makes a difference and potentially could save your life. What if I walked up to you as a total stranger and I said to you, I will pay you $1,000 to challenge you to stand on a train track until the last minute when I tell you to run? Would you do it? Would you trust me? Would you put enough faith in me that I would tell you to run when the train got close to you and threatened you? You take the challenge and we go to the train track. I blindfold you so you can't see, and I walk you to the track. I help you step over the train rails, and I tell you to stand here, that there will be a train coming in the next 10 minutes if it's on schedule. You're still blindfolded, and I talk to you so that you know that I'm there. And as the train gets closer, you can hear it approaching. What you don't know is that in these last minutes, I disappear. And as the train gets closer and gets closer, it blows its whistle, and you're waiting and waiting and waiting on me to tell you to run. The train continues to blow its horn, and you're still there, and you don't hear me telling you to run. What you don't know is that I stood you on the track next to the train rails that the train would be using to come through. I warned you in advance that if you don't get off the track, that the train would hit you and it would kill you. But what I didn't tell you was that I was putting you on the track next to the one the train was using. You didn't know this, so psychologically, you now have fear and panic because you're on your own. And you have to decide if you will stand there to win the challenge of $1,000 or if you're going to run. The train continues to blow the horn and passes through and blows by you. You panic and you rip the blindfold off and you see that I stood you on the train track next to the actual train. You're mad and you feel abandoned and you just want to get your hands around my neck. What I'm saying to you is that in the past months and years, many have been telling you to prepare your family and to prepare yourself and to prepare your community. And you continually blow it off and blow it off and blow it off because you're dependent upon me to tell you to get off the track, or you're dependent upon the government and a system that has repeatedly failed the people. You're dependent on them to come rescue you. At what point do you heed the challenge and prepare? It's your only way to survive. Hey everybody, welcome to Hope for Survival YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. Welcome to the new subscribers. Appreciate you following on this journey of preparedness and self-reliance. So as you watched in the 3 intro videos, I pose questions, and it's for individuals who either ignore recommendations, they fail to apply logic, or they simply truly believe there's a system around them that is coming to save them. And more power to each of them. And it seems like no matter how many times we try to offer guidance, offer assistance to help people prepare, give them information and literature to go read on their own, they have more important things to do. They are so caught up in the media and internet hysteria of everything that's going on, and they fail to look in front of their face and accept the fact that if a man-made or natural disaster occurs, or an event happens in their daily life, that they're going to pretty much be on their own. And history backs up and supports that. And all they have to do is be honest with themselves and look around to see these simple facts. And when I talk to others who are into preparedness and who are around quite a few individuals daily and are connected, they see the same things. The same people still playing with the thought or the idea of preparing, and the months pass and the years pass and they still never get started. Some of them actually build a security blanket in their mind that they are into preparedness, yet they've taken no steps to build their own insurance policy for self-reliance for their own home, whether they have a family or not, and to get involved in their community. And no matter how many times we do classes and how many times we offer training or in conversation, record these videos of trying to encourage people from a positive perspective, just being honest, they just aren't getting it done. And the clock's ticking, and the news is getting worse, and things aren't getting any better. And for those who really dive in and look at natural events that are happening closer and closer together, from wildfires, this long-term heat that we're enduring daily, to earthquakes, to volcanoes, to tsunamis, busy hurricane season upcoming, and they only don't learn from the past, but they just fail to recognize what the future holds for them, which means those who are unprepared are going to be on their own. Many of them will perish, and those who remain and do survive are going to be looking to those who are prepared in some manner or fashion. Okay, and truthfully, it's extremely irresponsible. I know folks who are highly educated, who know better, who are paying attention to what's going on, and they still simply ignore what is taking place around them. And whether it's being neglectful or they're mentally rebelling against the possibilities of how quickly things are changing. I mean, face it, the America that we were born and raised in, it no longer exists. And as quickly as AI is advancing and being promoted and deployed in another 20 years, we won't recognize the America that we have right now, which is totally different from the America that we were born and raised in. So, for the many out there, which there's probably there's more prepared now than probably 5 years ago, but probably still, I would guess, close to 90% of America is not prepared. Okay? Many of them cannot afford it. They live payday to payday, which in many cases is their own responsibility, and in many cases it's because of the circumstances we're living in right now where they simply can't afford to buy food for their children, put food in their home. They can't buy gasoline, pay for health care, and pay a mortgage or pay for rent that continues to skyrocket. So they're being left in a really, really bad crunch. And for those who are prepared, it's something that must be taken into consideration, is that there are many who do ignore and they know better. And there's so many voices that are telling people to wake up, and these are even voices who are not even in the preparedness realm. Okay, at the master and doctorate levels of how fast society is breaking and how fast society is changing and how fast the nations around the world, specifically the United States, how fast they're changing as well. And when you consider that the United States and probably Europe, the Western sector, is roughly a 60 to 70% service-oriented employer, how many of these 60 to 70% jobs in the service industry that are going to go away, and they're all going to be going to AI, robotics, and things of that nature? That's going to add a massive burden on the already strained system, on how folks are going to survive. Okay? And so many of these folks, probably the only thing they can really grow is a weed. And they're probably pretty good at growing weeds and not the kind you smoke. Alright? So, no matter how much or how often we continue to voice this, how often we ring the bell, it seems like as time passes, there's fewer and fewer people paying attention, because so many people are of the mindset that when the current president was elected that he's going to make things all better. Okay? It all starts at the ground level. It starts at the ground level in your home. It starts at the ground level in your community. And if people are not stepping out and working to better their community, whether it's political, economically, and survival and preparedness, in the church, in morals, in integrity, in building people to be stronger, more self-dependent and self-reliant, it's simply broken. So what I say to you and to those around you and your families is, how long are you going to stay lost in the woods? Or how long are you going to stay on that sinking boat? Or how long are you going to stand in front of that train waiting on someone to tell you to jump off the track, or waiting on someone to tell you what to do in the boat, or someone to tell you how to survive in the woods? It's going to come to a point where it's all on you. All right? And that's as positive as I can put it to you. Mildly. So take a step back, take a deep breath, look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself truly, can you depend on yourself? Can your family depend on you? When the store shelves are no longer stocked, the fuel trucks are not running, the roads and bridges are crumbling, there's no longer medical supplies coming in, you can't get your medicinal needs through the pharmacy, and the list goes on and on and on. You're out of shape. We've all aged. We all have physical ailments as we age, and we've got to learn how we're going to do things, continuing to do things smarter, not harder. This has been an extremely difficult and hot summer for so many, and I know so many are struggling at this point in mid-August to try to continue to get the most of what crops they have growing and get them canned or frozen or dehydrated or deep freeze-dried to have them to survive through the winters. And I know there's folks out there who are working hard. I get photographs sent in to me of folks that are helping one another. I call them doers, building barns, outdoor structures. They're cutting their own timber, they're cutting their own lumber, piece by piece, and they're coming together from families and communities to help one another out to survive. This is bonding, it is building trust, and it's people being there for one another. So when the times do get difficult, you know who you can trust. There's someone there that's going to tell you to get off the train track, or there's someone there who is going to help you not drown in that lake. Okay? There's someone there who knows typically where you go hike at, or where you go rock climb, or where you go do whatever it is you do. There's people who you have met and bonded with who would know likely where to find you to rescue you and help you. If you don't have any of these things, there's going to be some long days, weeks, and months ahead for you. And I don't want to sound pessimistic. I'm just trying to be as truthful to you as I can. So if you like this video, please hit like. Help us out in our algorithms. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe, and continue to follow us as we continue to try to help as many people as we can. If you go through the videos, there's about 255 videos now on everything from putting together food plans, covering water, covering security, and on and on and on. So most importantly, remember, we are blessed people, and no matter how bad you think it is here, I can tell you I've been all over the world, and there are places far worse than what you have right here. So appreciate it, make it better, help others build it to keep it where it's at now, and always remember to give thanks. Bravo Echo out.